On the issue of the governors, I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not a prophet, so I can't see the heart of man. I have no idea whether they have dumped or they have not. The day they announce that they have dumped the party, I'm sure you'll be the first to know. So far, so good. They are still in the party, and we are happy that they are in the party. If a wife remains in the home of the husband, it means there is still room for reconciliation. But if the wife packs out, then you know maybe the marriage has become irredeemable. So in this case, they have not said they are leaving PDP. All they are saying is that they are not happy in PDP. It happens. Even your child can get angry. Parents and children, they get angry. So, but we are happy that they are in the party. And we will continue to pray that peace will reign in the party. But as for the Atiku Okowa campaign, we remain steadfast, we remain focused, and nothing is going to distract our attention.
The second leg of the question, sir.
About Tinubu?
Yes.
I'm not a lawyer. It's a case. No, we spoke about it last week, but as a campaign, that we said it. We want to run a clean campaign. We don't want to malign anybody. So I'm sure I read somewhere that someone has gone to court. So we wait for the outcome of the court case. There is nothing, I think hoodwink is not the right word. Hoodwink means you are fraudulent, you are a scam, and we all know that you cannot accuse His Excellency Atiku Abubakar of such. When he was vice president, there were specific roles given to the vice president. So this question, when you have the opportunity, we may throw it at the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, who was the boss. The specific role given to our principal was in the area of the economy. And you know that we had the best under that government. He was able to assemble the best brains at home and abroad. So we're very proud, and that is why he has said he will continue from where they stop. And that's why we're using Recover Nigeria, because Nigeria was somewhere before the train derailed. So we will recover by the grace of God.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. In furtherance to that, sir, with profound respect to my colleague who asked that question, if there's anybody you should accuse of even hoodwinking Nigerians as relates to restructuring Nigeria, it should be the current government of the APC. We remember that same government, as a professional journalist, please, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, I need to listen attentively to that. Because if you, as a professional journalist, you should be aware, and you should have it on record, that the APC government did set up a committee on restructuring, led by Nasir El-Rufai. That report was submitted over 4 years ago, and no implementation was done as far as restructuring was concerned, or is concerned. A majority of their governors were members of that committee. This government has not pushed anything further as far as restructuring is concerned. Atiku was only vice president under President Olusegun Obasanjo. That government never promised restructuring when it came in 1999. You knew that that government took over power from the military. After the Bantustan and imperialistic regime of the various military administrations, the government came, united Nigerians in 1999, formed the government of national unity, and at least to the glory of God, there was peace in the land between 1999 to 2007. The message of restructuring that Atiku Abubakar has been championing since his foray into politics, particularly in 1999 campaigns, he's not been given the opportunity for you to know whether he's going to implement that or whether he's going to go ahead with that. But we state unequivocally that if he restated the same positions at the Lagos Business School as well as a forum we had with our colleagues, as our brother editors yesterday, led by the Guild of Editors. And he restated very unequivocally that he's not only set up a committee, we set up a committee 7 months ago with constitutional lawyers coming from all the geopolitical zones as members of that committee. And they have prepared, as we speak, we have a ready draft bill on the restructuring of Nigeria. That by the time he is elected into office by the grace of God and sworn in on the 29th of May 2023, he will hit the ground running. That will be his first major assignment. Because you know that the issue of constitutional amendment is a long haul, and we want to start it from day one. So I want to say that in the first place, your choice of words, particularly as relates to that question, you have to restructure it. Sometimes, yes, you have to restructure it. It's about grammar. It's about grammar and semantics. Let's be fair. We are here. It's a robust engagement. Let's be fair in our choice of words so that we don't offend each other's sensibilities. Thank you.
See, thank you. Mr. Frank is being frank. Yes. Okay. One or two more, if there are. Watch your own television. Because he was with us in Lagos just yesterday. He was with us 2 days ago in Lagos. I have attended meetings with him at the Sokoto Government Lodge in Abuja in the last 2 weeks. He's been very active. In fact, sometime last week when they started the rumor that he has left us, he was so unhappy. And he immediately issued a statement. So I'm surprised you missed it. He issued a statement. And since then, he's been going everywhere with us. You can fact check, to quote some candidates. Go and fact check. Number one, the letter written by Femi Fani-Kayode. He praised me. Even if I paid for it, nobody would have praised me more than that. He's my friend. He's my brother. So after praising me, he said he dares me. I don't know. So if someone dares you and say, I will beat you up, when you have no reason to fight, you will go naked and go and fight on the street? No. In fact, I thanked him for the generous words. Because trust me, he could not have written it any better. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not afraid of a fight. So if you can fight the military, so but I'm not a foolish man who will fight when there is nothing to fight about. That's that. You said I've not been commenting. You see, there is a disconnect between those who read news, maybe as newspapers, and those of us who are on social media. I make a living on social media. So anybody who goes to Dele Momodu Ovation on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, we know that there is nothing I have not commented about. Even when Asiwaju Tinubu prayed for us, I was one of the first people to carry it. I'm sure it had over 100,000 views that day. I can show you at the end. I have my phone in my pocket. I'll show you. So maybe you need to spend more time also on social media. No, it's true. It's very, very important to think. And then, not just that, he has been on air. Boala has been on air. Dino Melaye has, I'm the director of strategic communications. I'm not the spokesman of the campaign. My job is like that of Don Jazzy, producing the bunch. I'm in the background strategizing. You understand? So I cannot be talking every day alone when I have experts. Why do you think they are here? We have experts. If Kola, Olobodinyo, Frank Schreiber, Don Pedro, all of them have been at different TV stations in the last 1 week. So what do you want me to do again? So we are coordinating very well, and this producer is trying his best to produce very well. Thank you. Okay, yes.
Is a party that is full of hot air and misdirected desire to govern the people of Nigeria. At a critical point in time, such as an election, as a campaign period, you should be telling us what you have done for the Nigerian people. You should be telling us how you have improved the lives, the welfare, and the well-being of the Nigerian people. If there is any fight, you should be telling us how you fought Boko Haram. If there is a fight, tell us how you are fighting bandits. If there is a fight, tell us how you are fighting unemployment, how you are fighting hardship, how you are fighting terrorism, how you are fighting fuel queues. How did you fight the flood for the Nigerian people? That is the only fight that the Nigerian people want to hear. This is the fight you fought, and this is the outcome of the fight that has improved their lives, their welfare, their well-being, their security, their employment, inflation, and so on and so forth. Looking to warn people not to get into fights with you is neither here nor there. It doesn't do anything for us as a people. It doesn't do anything for you journalists, except for reasons of entertainment, unless you are looking for entertainment. But the 2023 elections is a fight for our lives. Basharun Dele Momodu is interested in fighting for our lives. That is why he serves on the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party as the Director for Strategic Communications, to communicate to the Nigerian people how we must take this fight for our lives very seriously. When FFK wants to have a serious fight, that sort of intellectual fight that relates to improving our lives and welfare, the people will meet him there. Nobody's interested in any other sort of fight. Thank you very much.
I'm journalist and I work for Vanguard newspaper.
Yes, sir.
I'm just looking at an MBS report just now. This is 2019.
Why Atiku Abubakar is the best choice. What he has been able to do in public life, what he has been able to do in his private life, when you look at them, you will know that this is the most experienced, the most prepared candidate in the race today. There is none close to him. He's the only one who has operated at the national level, so he knows what to do immediately. And if you were with us in Lagos at the Lagos Business School conference, you would have been extremely proud that you have such a leader. In fact, a lot of them came to us after the event that, look, we underrated your man. Now we know he's ready. Atiku is ready. Thank you. So.